We'll go ahead and call the Ellis County Public Building Commission meeting to order. Donna, please note that all board members are present. Any changes to the agenda, ladies? None?
No.
None. Approval of prior minutes. I think we had one set, correct?
Just for public building.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for public. That was
Any
okay.
additions or corrections?
No.
None. Stand approved as presented. Consideration of accounts payable.
Yes, sir. There are actually three checks, two to the same vendor, Paul Wartenberg Construction, totaling $135,200, and then one to Benmore Studios in the amount of $1,004.60 for a grand total of $136,204.60.
I move we approve the accounts payable in the amount of $136,204.60.
And I will second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Don, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Donna carries 3-0. Phil, we'd like to call on the project manager report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Project Manager Philip Smith-Haynes. I am pleased to announce that today was our final walkthrough of the project at 601 Main. Benmore from Benmore Studios came and walked through the building along with myself, Greg Erbert from Building Maintenance, staff from County Extension, and two folks from the contractors. And there was a small punch list developed, a couple of things that the contractors will need to get done within the next 30 days. But the building is looking good, and there was enough money left in the project contingency for a couple of small items that are pretty important to the staff over there. Some exterior door hardware on the south door and some film for the windows on the east side, since they've noticed there's now a little bit of a glare with all that new bright light coming in. So those are getting addressed, and we are on track for our open house and ribbon cutting on December 5th at 4 p.m.
Excellent.
So project is wrapping up. No new water intrusion, although we were talking, we should have installed some radiant heating on that north side because there was quite a bit of ice over there this morning, but not getting in the building, and that's the main thing.
There was quite a bit of ice everywhere this morning, so.
Yeah, they weren't alone.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. Good job, Phil. Thank you for filling in and taking the reins and running with that project, so thank you very much. Any executive sessions, Phil, Bill, commissioners? I guess board members, you're not commissioners yet.
No.
None.
Not yet.
We will adjourn, Donna, at 5:04. Ready again? Mike still ready? We'll go ahead and call the Ellis County Commission meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Donna, please note, all three commissioners are present this evening. Any changes to the order of business, ladies? Seeing none, no. We have two sets of prior minutes.
No,
I didn't have any. Do you have any?
I didn't get
Good.
a cent, so.
I didn't
That's
get
good,
any.
because when I seen that, I thought, oh, I didn't get prior minutes, but maybe my fellow commissioners did. Good.
She likes us better than she likes you.
Well, I wouldn't take much, but that's beside the point. Consent agenda items A through G.
I move we approve the consent agenda items A through G as presented.
And I will second that motion.
Donna, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda items A through G. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Issues from persons not on the order of business this evening. My only real concern is we have more people out there with badges and guns than we do citizens.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that was all about, but that does concern me. So, Sheriff, you may have to explain yourself later.
It may be the safest place to be in Ellis County tonight.
That is probably true. I thought when they kept walking in, I thought, wow, we got more people with badges and guns than we do anybody in the audience.
You wondered what we were doing,
I
huh?
was thinking of that. Next is the biennial bridge inspection, award of the contract. Public Works Director.
Good evening, Commissioners. Bill Ring, Public Works Director. In your packet, you received a copy of the information to do our 2018 biennial bridge inspections. Every other year, we're required by state and federal to do those. We have a contract to propose to you from Penco Engineering here in Plainville for the 201 bridges. We also worked with the City of Hayes and the City of Ellis, as we always do, to include them in on the volume price we get for doing 200 bridges, because the City of Ellis has 1 and Hayes has 10.
Okay.
So they're always taken into consideration, so we can help them with that. And as you'll see that this year, again, we're doing the same number of bridges, but the approximate price of the bridges will be going down $2,400 from Penco based on the year before. And then it was $17,000 and $17,400 in 2016. And in 2014, it was $19,300. So we keep working to get better pricing.
That's good.
So, is there any questions on the bridge inspection?
I
have
think we're
none.
fortunate to have somebody close that can do that. Maybe that's the reason we got a better price.
And you will be included in a packet from them like we've done in the past with a
Right.
copy. And if you have any specific questions, they'd be, we can always get to that at either during the inspection process or following. Either
Are they
way.
going to
So
bring a pool of money with them to repair all of our bridges? Or
We
is
would
that
only- we would
for
only
Christmas?
hope.
That would be a nice
We
Christmas
would only
present.
hope so.
Okay.
You expect this to be done before the first of the year, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought, so.
This is the perfect time, what they call leaf off, and it's cold. They don't have to worry about critters when they're down climbing under bridges and looking through culverts and different things like that. Most of the
Sounds-
things they don't want to see are borrowed well underground at this time, especially after this morning's 6-degree temperature. So
Cold, cold, cold.
Okay. I move that the commission approve the 2018 contract with Penco Engineering to inspect 201 bridges for Ellis County. This contract includes sharing the same inspection services and pricing with the City of Hayes and the City of Ellis. And the financial impact looks like it will be $15,075.
Do we have a
I'll
second?
second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the annual bridge inspection. Any further discussion, ladies? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0, Donna. Thank you, Bill.
And then one other thing, the landfill foreman, Vern Reuter, gave me a quick email to let you know about our working with the City of Hayes on the alley, citywide cleanup with the alley project. And they brought in a total of 163 tons of what we would consider municipal waste. And then we brought in a variety of appliances with Freon, which we take care of, white goods, which we take care of, and then all the C&D, construction demolition, comes in. So that saved the city about $1,900 in disposal fees. And the salvagers are out there picking up from the metal pile and are all but complete. And it looks like that should bring us about $13,500 in revenue for this year. And that's with prices being down considerably because that's a volatile market. So
Right.
anyway, so that's a good thing for the landfill budget.
So the landfill manager decided just to send his son to do this job tonight, to report all this?
So anyway, is there any other questions?
I have none. Ladies, none?
Nope.
If not, thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Next item is the budget discussion. County Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, County Administrator Philip Smith Haynes. So tonight we are kicking off the budget process for Ellis County's 2020 budget, which seems a long way in the future since we're still here in 2018, but the commission requested that we start this a little bit early this year, based on what we discovered in going through the 2019 budget about how difficult it is going to be to maintain the status quo in future years. I will start off with a little bit of good news. As you know, we try and estimate very conservatively our financial forecast, and so in August, I was anticipating a level of revenues based on what we knew at that time that would give us a ending fund balance this year of $2,425,000, and then that would give us about just under $1.5 million going into 2020. Based on where we are as of November 1st and the revenues that have been collected as of this time, which are all of our ad valorem revenues and, of course, 10 months worth of departmental revenues, those have come in much stronger than what we were anticipating, and so our current projection is that that ending balance will be about $500,000 higher than what we thought back in August, so about $2,925,000. So that's great news, but still only gets us to about a beginning balance for 2020 of about 9.5% of annual expenditures, and that number should really be closer to 15%. So good news, but a way to go. So, there are a number of other things that I've detailed in the written report. I won't go through each of them, but I'm happy to answer questions from the commissioners, and we have quite a number of department heads who are in attendance this evening as well. And we just look forward to hearing from the commission what you envision in terms of next steps.
Well, the first thing that when I talked to Phil about it was, and he sent an email about how many people we have retiring. And then the reason I wanted to look at that is this is a good time to re-envision how we structure the county, and perhaps thinking outside the box. For example, having some staff take care of different departments be part-time for each department, etc. There are ways to perhaps save some money by our employee number going down through retirements, and not, I know we can't replace the institutional knowledge that we have with some of these employees, but I think if we kind of re-envision how we help one another in each department and not be as separated, I think we can work through this and make Ellis County leaner and stronger. Because where we have the biggest expense is personnel. And that's, I don't want to have any layoffs. I don't think, I think we can do a lot of things by what we've tried to do in the past. Bill moving from emergency services over to public works, and combining health and EMS. Those are just two examples, short-term examples that we did. And I think we can do that on other levels within the county, and I think that will save us some significant funds there.
Thank you, Barb. We got a lot of good points. Marcy?
I was thinking about we need to look at the health insurance how much we are spending, which is a great amount, and we need to convey to the employees that this health insurance is a benefit, and you might as well consider it a salary, and really get this through your head before. And so I know this is probably the best place to work as far as health insurance. Maybe we need to see if people could pay more. I know, as my husband was a former state employee, they didn't pay my insurance. They didn't. I could buy it, but they didn't pay it. And, you know, maybe that's something we need to look into. We've been pretty liberal with paying for the families, and I wish we could pay for them, but it's getting out of hand.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Hey,
I
go
have
ahead.
another thing about, we need to explore maybe sales tax, maybe for roads, maybe we need for the general fund. I don't know just how it was. The last sales tax we had sunset on October the 1st, I believe, and it was great. I don't think anybody really hurt that much by paying that half cent. I think that we don't realize how much could be garnered from that. And, you know, I know everything is going up, but so what? Your turn.
Okay. Well, you both have very good points. Thank you very much. I'd visited with Phil just a little bit about a sales tax dedicated possibly to road and bridge. That seems to be the department we consistently have borrowed from in the past, and as Mr. Ring has reported many times, we have a lot of roads in Ellis County that take a lot of maintenance and future developments possibly. So I guess I would like to see Phil possibly explore some numbers with us at possibly a half cent, quarter cent. Give us some options, what that would generate potentially over a 10-year period is my thought. So if that's something you would look into, Phil, maybe report back the next time we have a meeting of this sort on the budget, but that's kind of one of my possibilities. Barb, I like some of the points you made also.
Well, I haven't, there's one other thing I wanted to add, but this not really, it would impact the budget, but I know that we're having some trouble hiring different employees for positions. There's a different thought by the millennials on what they want, not necessarily all the benefits. And so at this point, I think we can start to be a little bit more creative on what we offer employees, setting I don't want to say a limit, but setting a price that we can't go over per employee level, but maybe be a little bit more creative on finding a way to get these employees to take a job that maybe pays a little bit more than it did with all the other benefits, and give them some choices. I know that from what I've read, there are a lot of young people, and talking to them, they don't want all the benefits. And so perhaps we can start looking at that to try to tailor different employees' needs for what they would like to do. I know everyone, all the department heads are like, no, I don't want to do that. But that's another way to try to see how we manage our costs as well and attract employees, since I think, particularly in Road and Bridge, there are higher paying options available for them outside in the community. So,
very good point. I did have an employee that I guess applied out at Road and Bridge, or a friend that applied out there, and he was that way, just what Barb mentioned. His wife works at the college, has all the full benefits, I guess, their health insurance, and he asked, well, can we just waive the benefits and I could get a higher wage? And I said, well, that is something we could look into. I don't think we ever have, to my knowledge. I don't think we've ever looked into that. Of course, and being as of union, we probably couldn't at that time either.
Right.
But maybe going forward, Phil, if you want to investigate that for us also.
I know that the city has already done that, so we
Oh, have
don't,
they?
we don't have to
Okay.
try to start from scratch. We can see what they've decided to start trying to offer different employees and try to work from there.
Yeah, I mean, there are some benefits that are more optional than others. These ideas might work in concert, right? So if
Right.
If there were adjustments to health insurance, that might make it easier to
Right.
But that would probably be a very,
and retirement's a whole separate thing.
you know, very creative formula to do that. But I'm guessing we can probably figure out if the city of Hayes is doing it. Maybe you can visit with
See what
Toby,
they've done, yeah.
see how they've structured it to make it work that way. But I think that is a way to attract more employees for the county.
The other thing I wanted to bring up, and this is spending money as opposed to talking about where we can reevaluate our budget, but I think our decision to not do matching funds for the Heartland Community Foundation may be a little short-sighted, since they bring so much more money. They get matching grant money from Dane Hansen. That brings so much more money into Ellis County for various nonprofits and things like that. So I'd like us to reconsider that before the end of the year.
You remember the number we did last year?
It was 5,000.
Okay.
They
thank
asked
you.
for 5,000.
I was going to ask Phil, so thank you very much. I thought maybe you knew that number.
I did know that number.
Thank you very much also.
I was pretty sure you knew that number. I knew it as well, but I just think we need to rethink that decision before the end of the year.
Okay, I think that's something we can look into and see where we can come up with that possibly. Will you report back on that, sir?
Absolutely.
Okay. Anything else, ladies? I know it was kind of brief and a few seats planted to start, but
Well, I just know that with we're going to have one new commissioner, and it's trying to get something started so that they're not starting from scratch. It's just better to start a little bit earlier and get some ideas circulated and get department heads thinking about it. Because I think you guys have done a great job, and I know it hurts to think that we will not rehire positions, shift positions, but I take pride in what you guys do, and I think you do a great job, and I think you will be able to figure this out, and we can get somewhere.
okay, thank you.
Could I inquire about a time frame for coming back with some of these? Are we thinking January at this point, or maybe?
I guess my opinion, Phil, you guys can throw things if you want. We're going to have one new commissioner for sure. That'll be around January the 14th or
Yes,
so.
sir. Mm-hmm.
And potentially maybe a second commissioner if Barb wins her race. So I think we need to do it after that,
After that.
if that's okay with both of you.
Okay, well, I can promise you there will be budgetary decisions in December. We have a few more things, but we will. I will consult with department heads about the things that you've discussed tonight, and we'll bring back some ideas at that second or third meeting in January.
Thank you, Phil. I know you will. Nothing else, ladies, before we move on? No? Mr. Jeter, County Councilor.
County Councilor Bill Jeter, I don't have a report this evening. Thank you.
You. County Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. County Administrator Philip Smith Haynes. I also have no report this evening.
Okay. County Commissioner reports. Barb, would you like to go first this evening?
I would like to tell the county clerk that I am going to recuse myself from canvassing the election. And I've asked Mike Morley, who says he will stay the whole time, which he may be sorry that he said that. But Mike Morley will be my proxy, just as before. And while I appreciate everyone telling me what they thought I should do, I did it on my own before the primary, and I'm very well versed in making that decision on my own as well. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Barb. Marcy?
I don't have anything, didn't have any meetings this week.
I guess I'm pretty low-key, too. I also like to let Donna know I have recused myself from the canvassing on Thursday night, and I believe I've appointed a very capable individual that can probably take care of my duties.
Will he bring a gun?
Our sheriff, Mr. Ed Harbin, has agreed to take my spot. So,
It might be good that you have a gun at that meeting.
Mr.
I
Judah?
should remind the
50.
commissioners that those appointments actually are made by the remaining member, which would be Commissioner McClellan,
Yep.
subject to consultation with Donna.
Okay.
But Marcy certainly can take into
Oh,
consideration the recommendations of the two of you have made.
Sure. Well, Marcy, you have to work that out with Donna.
I guess, I don't know, do you think I can do that?
You two get along?
Well, I think so. I talked to her
Okay.
this morning a little bit.
Well, I guess you have our recommendations and
That's right,
We'll,
we will do that.
consult with her.
I will consult with her before I appoint them.
Okay. Anything else? I guess we got executive session. Any executive sessions this evening? None?
You
None?
didn't have any questions, okay.
Barb, none?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, then we will adjourn this fine meeting at 5:27. The new IT director, we thank you for coming and for filling in. Thank you, the sheriff department, with all the badges and guns, for showing up too, keeping us safe this evening.
Yes.